Introduction. You should be able to hear me now. Just a couple of facts. You know, the reason why I know about pomegranates, or at least I claim to know, is my father and his fathers, my ancestors, are from this town called Shabe, which is somewhere between Tehran and Qom. Pretty dry climate there. And the pomegranates of Shabe are very famous across Iran. Just like the Sohan of Qom, or you know, you name it, anything, or Firuza, or the turquoise from Mashhad. So growing up, I watched my dad put the anar out, and you know, he from what I understand, this is the best way of doing it. So I'm going to show you guys how I do it. Hopefully, you know, you could take some notes, or even if not, just enjoy it, and hopefully this will lead to you having more anar in your life. Just a couple of traditional facts about anar. It's historically very important fruit to Iran, just because it grows in dry climate, but it has a lot of high water content. So you know, so it's a good way to store something that'll keep you hydrated. So, and throughout our poetry and whatnot, just the bright red color of it has come to symbolize a lot of things, including passion and love and beauty. But you know, aside from that, it's just delicious. So hopefully you could all see it. I'm gonna tilt this down a little bit. Welcome to my home in San Francisco. Okay, so you need a knife that is not too big. So this knife will do. And probably the most important part of all of this is the first step, which is cutting the top with this bit of it into an equilateral triangle. I've tried this a lot in the past few weeks, and I've had a lot of pomegranate juice spill everywhere, but that just comes with it. So always have some towel or some area available, because there is going to be some juice dripping. So you cut in like that, and don't go in too deep, okay? You want to go in just beneath the skin. So that's one side of the triangle. Now this is the second side. You want this to be equilateral, meaning three sides need to be the same length. Okay, so once you have your triangle in, now this is when you go in deep, and this is when it's going to start getting a little messy. So I will get some paper towels ready, just in case. And now you start from the tip of the triangle, you go in and you dig deep and you bring it down. So that's one side. Then you do the third tip of the triangle. So that's the second. And always remove the sticker too. Here we go. And here is the third. Just a side note, pomegranate in Iran was usually, before there was refrigerators, they would store them under the dirt, and you could store it for a few years, and then you could dig them back up. All right, so now that you have it at this stage, you're going to go ahead and take the lid off. So the lid comes off just like that. Put this aside. And now you're going to have to just open it up just like that. And this is a really good pomegranate. I got lucky with it at Trader Joe's. Put these aside, and now one by one, you're going to have your bowl ready. You're going to put this in the bowl, and you're going to open them up like this. And then you remove the skin. There's a lot of skin in there. And then what you do is you just brush off the anar, just like that. This is the best way, and the fastest, I think, and the easiest way to harvest your anar. Usually this is a really big pomegranate. This will probably take me 7 minutes or so to do the whole thing. Yeah, and because it takes so much effort, it's pretty cumbersome. If somebody does do this for you, that means they love you a lot. So typically, when you have guests over, you want to let them know that you like them a lot, or if your father or your parents do it for you, they want you to know that they love you and all of that good jazz. So yeah, this will go on for a few minutes. As you can see, then this is where you're going to be end up with. If the NR is good and if it hasn't gone bad, these are going to be really fresh and bright. You could see some of them here had started to go bad, but this is a pretty fresh NR I got. This is a pomegranate from California. They grow it in the Central Valley, San Joaquin Valley. All right, so that was one, and there's two more to go. Just depending on how much time I have, this is how you do it. Let me just do this one other quarter here. We got lucky this time. There was not that much spillage or nothing really squirted out of the pomegranate. Yes, so I don't want to waste too much time. I'll just do this one more here. And the other panelists, you guys let me know if I've gone too far over time or not, okay?
Oh, it's never a waste of time, in my opinion. When it comes to opening pomegranates, I eat a pomegranate a day, so this is useful. Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
All right, so that's it. I'm just gonna clean my hand. And then there's one last step. I didn't do the whole thing here. I still have halfway to go, but very important step when you finish, you put it all in a bowl. So presentation is very important, just like anything else in life. So you got to take out these little bits of the skin that come, naturally when you're doing that spiel. So when you have your whole thing harvested here, put it down. Let's see if you guys can see it. You got to ask your guests if they're okay with it or not. But I always like to go with a little sprinkle of just a little bit of salt. And some goldpar. Goldpar is very hard to come by here, but it's called Angelica in English. Well, I didn't have any goldpar, but if you do have some, I highly recommend it with some salt and some Angelica spice. Then you just give it a little, just a little love like that, and then enjoy it. So that's your honor for you. Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Thank you so much, Mattine. That honestly was quite an informative video. And one of the main reasons why I don't eat pomegranates as much as I'd like to is because it's so hard to just sit there and individually try to take out all the anar. But after watching this, I'm definitely going to start trying this now, which is really helpful.
Just not wait like me. I can't wait to take it all out. So I just eat it.
Yeah. All righty. So now I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Jessie so we can go on to our next segment.
All right, thank you so much. Again, I eat a pomegranate a day, so I will be putting that to use for sure. There's actually some stuff in there that I didn't know about pomegranates. So thank you, Mattine. That was awesome. So now we have NIAC's very own president and deputy executive director, Jamal and Nilafar, who want to wish everyone a happy Shabe Yalda.
Hi everyone, Nilafar and Jamal here, your NIAC leadership team.
From our NIAC family to yours, we want to wish everybody celebrating a very happy Yalda.
As we exit this period of darkness, we hope that your Yalda brings light, love, and joy to your family.
Yalda Mubarak.
Oh, that was so nice. It's always nice to hear from people across the entire nation. So it's wonderful. So now next, actually, I think we're waiting for Mattine. Yes, hello, Mattine. Are you eating the pomegranate already?
Sorry,
You couldn't
so
wait.
I couldn't stop. It was so fresh. I had to go for it.
I know. I opened one too, and I smell it, and I want to dig in now, but I'm gonna try and do this.
It's it's very good for you. It has antioxidants. It's
yes.
Good, yeah. Okay, so next up, we're gonna have a hafez song cycle. Jesse, Masood, and Timothy will be playing this. Jesse is part of a band, and their music is inspired by the poet Hafez. Hafez, as you know, we've been talking about him a lot, is our 13th century poet from Iran. The music And the poetry is simply beautiful in its arrangement and words, and its unique meter that's akin to the music. So I hope you guys enjoy the music with a unique rhythm. And with that, I'm going to turn it over. And their work is published on websites that we're going to list in the chat section for you to go ahead and view after this performance is over. Thanks very much.
It's always so bizarre watching yourself perform.
No, that was amazing, Jesse. Like, wow. And especially singing for that long, my voice would get absolutely tired. So that's quite incredible and really, really impressive of you to do. So that was amazing. So up next, we're going to send it over to our friend Kia, who is the co-captain of the San Francisco chapter, and his dad. And they're going to read and discuss a poem by Hafez for us as a part of their ongoing podcast series called Hearing Hafez.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us, and happy Yalda to all of you. My name is Kia. I'm a chapter member with the San Francisco Bay Area chapter, and I'm here with my dad, Dr. Yadi Akbar, and we are going to read some Hafez for you. The reason being that together, the two of us, we have a podcast that we do semi-regularly, put out episodes maybe about once a month, called Hearing Hafez, in which we read poems by Hafez in Farsi and then discuss them in English. And, you know, we started this almost exactly a year ago on Shabe Yalda. And so while we're on the cusp of our 1 year anniversary, we're honored to be here to share that with all of you. So we actually just finished discussing our Yalda Night episode, which will be published on Shabe Yalda, and we thought we'd give you a little bit of a sample of what the process of doing these episodes looks like, and maybe a little bit of analysis on one of Hafez's poems as well. So that being said, Baba, can you get us started?
Yeah. Should I? به چشم کردم ابروی ماه سیمایی، خیال سبز خطی، نقش بستم جایی. امید هست که منشور عشق بازی من از آن کمانچه ابرو رسد به طغرایی. سرم ز دست بشد، چشم از انتظار بسوخت. سرم ز چشم بشد، چشم از انتظار بسوخت. در آرزوی سر و چشم مجلس آرایی. مکدر است دل، آتش به خرقه خواهم زد. بیا ببین که کرا می کند تماشایی. به روز واقعه تابوت ماز سرو کنید که می رویم به داغ بلند بالایی. زمام دل به کسی داده ام من درویش که نیستش به کس از تاج و تخت پروایی. در آن مقام که خوبان ز غمزه تیغ زنند، عجب مدار سری اوفتاده در پایی. مرا که از رخ او ماه در شبستان است، کجا بود به فروغ ستاره پروایی. فراق و وصل چه باشد رضای دوست طلب، که حیف باشد از او غیر او تمنایی. درر ز شوق برآرند ماهیان به نثار. درر ز شوق برآرند ماهیان به نثار، اگر سفینه حافظ رسد به دریایی.
Humble.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah. Merci, Baba.
خواهش.
So that's actually a longer poem than we typically read. That was 10 baits, I think.
It is.
Yeah, and most of the ones we do are about 7 baits. But he covers a lot of ground here. We're not going to get into too many of the details because we're kind of limited in terms of time. But basically, he's going through another poem in which Hafez, he basically is in love with someone, or at least has a strong affinity for someone, and is talking about the tribulations and describes the pain that's involved in not being able to be as close with them as he would like, in, of course, typical Hafez fashion, which is very colorful. But there are a few baits which I thought were both fun and interesting that I thought we could touch on a little bit with the time that we have. So the first one is the 5th bait. Can you read the 5th one for us?
The 5th is به روز واقعه تابوت ماز سرو کنی که می رویم به داغ بلند بالایی.
So the thing that I like about this one, he's basically saying, he doesn't say the day that I die or on the day of my funeral, but he says when the day comes. We kind of assume that to mean the day that
my
he
turn,
dies.
huh?
When it's my turn. Yeah, when he says it's my turn. That's what I love. We talked about this earlier too, that he says, I want my casket to be made of cedar, by the way. The thing that I appreciate in this bait, and I think Hafez does this in general, is that he sort of glosses over the question of his own mortality. He doesn't say the day I die. He says when it's my turn, And by the way, for my sake, let's just make sure it's made of cedar as well. I appreciate that. That's something that I really like. But on the whole, he's basically saying, and you said this was a very important poem as well for Hafez's.
He got in the circle. He got the closest poet to the king, right?
So this bait is the one that kind
of the 5th one. He's very famous on that.
Got him into sort of the inner political circles of Shiraz as well.
And the king was also a tall guy, and handsome, and so that he is referring to the cedar, as you know very well.
Right. This is his friend Shah Shuja.
Shah
Right?
Shuja, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Thank
Yeah.
you for mentioning. Yeah.
Let's jump then to the eighth bait. This one I just like because it's the kind of extravagant hyperbole that you would expect from Hafez when he's really just feeling something very powerfully. Where, can you read that one again?
یا مرا که از رخ او ماه در شبستان است کجا بود به فروغ ستاره پروایی.
Right. Which is, do
Yeah.
you want to explain that one?
Right. It says that I have a bright moonlight of his face, that-
Kind of with him internally.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And then I'm living in this dervish place, in this little place, because I'm dervish, And so, but then I'm not worried that, that is, look at the single starlight, far away, because
Yeah,
I have this guy.
right.
Yeah.
You say, yeah. So why would I be concerned about the stars,
Yeah.
the light from a single star?
That's
when
right.
I carry the moonlight of his face. with
Exactly.
me?
That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's high praise.
Yeah,
That's
it
very
is.
high Yeah. And then the last one that I want to touch on here with the time that we have, the ninth bait, which is immediately after that, where he basically says, to be close and to be far from someone is not important, regardless of the attachment that you have to them. But that what is important is that your friend is happy.
Yeah.
Right? That they're happy.
Right.
And he also says it's a shame never to tell someone, or to never tell someone what it is that you want from them.
Exactly.
And I think that's an interesting line because Hafez doesn't often give us wisdom as directly as he does here. He just kind of says it very plainly. That
We didn't see that in the other poems. You're right.
yeah,
So
he's usually
far.
very playful and colorful and intricate in the way he does it. But I mean, it's I mean, for one thing, it's unique, but maybe it's a factor of the length of the poem as well, that he got far enough, he elaborated enough to the point where he was like, let me just make it plain and simple for you.
Right.
This is what I'm talking
That's
about.
quite possible.
Yeah.
It's quite possible. Yeah.
Did you want to add anything about that one?
No, I think you explained so nicely. I can, it's anybody who can read it or listen to your explanation can comprehend that.
Right. Yeah. So we'll be publishing a full-length episode on this poem as well.
Yeah. Okay.
On Shabe Yalda. So,
okay.
but we'll wait till Yalda night for that.
Right.
Was there anything you wanted to add in the meantime, Vava?
I don't know if you are going to go look at the 10th one, but before 10th one, on this one, the only thing that is coming to my mind is that to elaborate also a little bit of what you said, that he is really falling in love with this person, and at the same token, he want to make sure that he's happy, or that this is interesting,
Yeah.
It's not only, this is mutual,
It is a bit of a relief of tension because
Right.
everything he says up till now is very dramatic
Right.
about sort of
Right.
like the state that Hafez is in. He's losing his head. He's burning his clothes.
Yeah.
And then he says, but that doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? What matters is that they're happy.
That's right.
So, okay. And there we have it. If you like that and you're interested in hearing more, like I said, we'll be publishing the full-length episode of this poem on Shabe Yalda, and you can find us on any of your standard podcasting streaming platforms, so Apple Music, Spotify, whatever it may be, or Apple Podcasts,
Yeah,
Spotify.
and also Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify, like I said.
Yeah.
And so
And Google, Google and say hearing Hafez.
I guess if you Google hearing
Yeah,
Hafez,
it's going to connect them.
So just Google hearing Hafez, and then you can find us. But yeah, wishing everyone a safe and happy Yalda night, and
Happy Yalda night.
yeah, take care.
What an amazing analyzing kind of factors to the poems. I'm a huge podcast listener, so I'm definitely going to add that to my list of podcasts to listen. And if any of you guys are interested in listening as well, we have dropped a link in the chat for Apple Music where you can listen to the podcast. And if you scroll up a little bit, we also have the link for Spotify.
Thanks, Lily, for that. I'm just going to add that being co-captain with Kia for the San Francisco chapter is an honor. I'm so grateful to be, colleague of his, and this was very incredible podcast to listen to. Kia is an awesome guy. I love him. So I'm going to be doing a plug here for Yalda cards, which are or Salam cards. They're a small business who could personally curate cards of any kind, greeting cards, you name it. They make them, and you could send them to whoever one you like. I really like these guys because not only are Salam cards, they have Iranian background, but they're also based out of Brooklyn. And if you can't tell from my accent, it's right around in my neck of woods. So very important for all of us as a community to support our small businesses. Businesses are the way we could establish our roots and support one another and grow as a community. So with that, I'm gonna hand it over to Jesse, and we have some more poetry to come.
Thank you, Martine. I think, do we have a, okay, it's okay. Oh, okay, sorry, I was reading one of the comments in here. I see a lot of you are talking about pomegranates, and so I think Martine had a little bit of an effect on people with their pomegranates, so that's really great. I love to hear that. There's also a video for, oh my gosh, I just want to like dig into that pomegranate bowl. But we also have a video from Salam cards that we want to play really quick, and then we will continue on with the program after.
Yalda is almost here. Hello everyone. My name is Hediye Yousefi. I own and operate an online greeting card company in Brooklyn, New York called Salam Forever. I have a great passion for two things. As a painter and artist and graphic designer, I love art and artists. As an Iranian American, I have a deep love for Persian culture. I think we can all agree there is something special about how Persians express themselves. So I became inspired to help Iranian Americans celebrate Persian culture and to share our culture with other Americans. That's why I created Salam Forever, an online greeting card company that creates and designs unique greeting cards with true Persian flair. Our cards are here to help you celebrate our traditions and those special moments in your life with the people you care about and love. You will notice the colors and patterns, the style, and even the characters are very rich with Iranian accent and textures. Best of all, our cards are perfectly suitable for anyone, whether they love Persian culture or not. Normal greeting cards can seem so impersonal, so commercial, but the greeting card from Salam Forever says you think someone is special enough to send them your message in a very special card. Thank you for letting me share with you all today. Check us out online and please subscribe with our website at salamforever.com or follow us on Instagram at salamforevergram.
That was wonderful. Thank you all. Thank you for showing that video. Sorry, I'm trying to eat my pomegranate while we're hanging out here, and I just ate a bad one. So I don't know if that's ever happened to any of you guys, but yeah, that just happened live. So that's how you know we're live.
Hey, it's going to be a bad year now, so I'm sorry.
Oh no, it was just one. The rest of them are all really good. I have my bowl here, and I wasn't looking because I was watching our video, and then I was like, wait, this doesn't taste right.
Yeah.
Goodness. Anyways, so that was a treat. The cards, not the bad pomegranate seed. What a treat. Next we have a poetry reading by Parisa Saranj.
Hello and salam. My name is Parisa Saranj, and as a longtime fan and friend of the NIAC family, I would like to wish you a wonderful Shabe Yalda. Since we all know that the significance of the winter solstice lies in its meaning and symbolism in the Iranian culture and literature, I would like to celebrate this night, this triumph of light over darkness, of good over evil, by reading you a poem. This poem, appropriately, it's called Yalda. It's by the Iranian poet Feridun Moshiri, and I'm going to read the original followed by my translation for you. I hope you enjoy, and again, Shabe Yalda Mubarak. Yalda. می رفت و گیسوان بلندش را بر شانه می پراکند. شب را به دوش می برد همراه عنبر سارا. در موج گیسوان بلندش تابیده بود شب را. آرام مثل زمزمه آب می گذشت با اختران به نجوا. همراه گیسوان بلندش خاموش مثل زیر و بم خواب می گذشت. پشت دریچه ها چشم جهانیان به تماشا. می رفت با شکوه تر از شب همراه گیسوان بلندش تا باغ‌های روشن فردا یلدا. Letting down her long hair, the night on her shoulders, the most fragrant of perfumes with her, she was leaving. Braided the night into the waves of her long hair, she was conversing with the stars, gently like whispers of water. Behind the windows, the world was watching her, silent like the ebb and flow of a dream. With her long hair, Yalda more glamorous than the night, she was leaving toward the bright gardens of tomorrow.
That was so beautiful. My goodness. I've heard her do some story reading and other poetry as well. She's so wonderful every time, so wonderful to listen to. So now I'm going to hand it off over to Lily to introduce our next performer.
So up next, we have another dance performance that is performed by Miriam Peretz and the Nava Dance Collective. And it's going to be a selection from Transcendence, Charq Falak, which is a translation of Turning of the Cosmos. And this performance was created and directed by Miriam Peretz. The video was shot by Daniel Garcia and it was edited by Nita Shalom. And the song credit is Ne Taksimi by the Whirling Dervishes.
مرو این سو بیا ای گلبن خندان من ای عقل 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 من ای جان 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 من آن سو مرو این سو بیا ای گلبن خندان من ای عقل 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 من ای جان خواهم که شب تاری شود، پنهان بیایم پیش تو، از روی تو روشن شود شب پیش رهبانان من. آن سو مرا این سو بیا، ای گلبن خندان من، ای عقل 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 من، ای جان 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 من، ای عقل 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 من، ای جان 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 من. آن سو مرا این سو بیا، ای گلبن خندان من، ای عقل 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 من، ای جان 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 من، ای عقل 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 من، ای جان 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 من. عشق تو را من کیستم، از اشک خون ساقیستم، سبراق می چشمان من، از سار می مژگان من. زشم شرابت آورم و از دل کبابت آورم، این است تر و خشک من، پیدا بود امکان من. در سر به چشمم چشم تو گوید به وقت خشم تو، پنهان حدیثی کو شود از آتش پنهان من. آن سو مرا این سو بیا، ای گلبن خندان من، ای عقل 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 من، ای جان 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 من، ای عقل 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 من، ای جان 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 من. با این همه خوغند تو، کو عهد و کو سوگند تو، چون بوریا برمی شکن ای یار خوش پیمان من، چون بوریا برمی شکن ای یار خوش پیمان من. سو مرا این سو بیا، ای گل جان 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 من.
All I can say is wow, that left me speechless. That was such a beautiful dance. It was so well choreographed. Like that was amazing. Oh my goodness. As I mentioned before, this was created and directed by Miriam Perez, and we actually dropped a link to Miriam's website in the chat. So if you're interested in seeing more of the dances from that group, you can go ahead and click on the website in the chat. I definitely will later on in the evening because I would definitely want to see more of their work.
Okay, thanks very much, Lily. So before we go any further, we're in San Francisco here, and we're joined by some NIAC members, and some of them started having some kebab and whatnot. They want to say hello here. Hi. Yeah. Nice. All right. Everybody's vaccinated, so it's all good. Okay, so our next presenter is Ari Honarvar. Ari is an award-winning writer, visual artist, and journalist. She writes about many topics, including social justice, parenting, and mental health, and has appeared in major publications, including The Guardian and Washington Post. She's the author of Rumi's Gift, which was published in 2018, and her latest novel, A Girl Called Rumi, published earlier this year. Please join me in warmly welcoming Ari Jan as she reads a few verses from her newest book. Thanks very much.
The morning he left, my Baba told me to be a good listener. I'm going to come back with more stories, he whispered in my ear. Then he slung his bag over his shoulder and left for the airport. He was a civil engineer on a secret government assignment that he couldn't tell us anything about. He didn't know when he would come home either. In the first few days, I kept track of his movements in my mind. Now he's fastening his seatbelt. Now he is in his hafez office learning about his new assignment. Now he's having dinner. But as the weeks rolled by, it all became fuzzy, a tangle of pointless tidbits. When we talked on the phone, I didn't have much to say. I had promised to be a good listener, but this was much harder than I thought. A few days before my father left, I had asked him, why do they hate us? We were taking our usual walk, meandering through the garden around the willow tree and the rose bushes holding hands. They don't even know us, my dad answered. How could they hate us? He took a long drag of his cigarette before passing it to me. We had a secret tradition in which I finished off his cigarettes on the rare occasion when he smoked. Never mind that I was a 9-year-old girl in post-revolution Iran. I took a couple of puffs and squashed the butt on the edge of the fountain. Baba, what is it like to lose your dad? I asked. He shook his head. It's really hard. Earlier that day, my entire 3rd grade class had gone silent as Roxana entered the room, her face showing long, angry scratches. Would I claw my own face if I lost someone I loved? Roxana and I were good friends, and I hated it that I hadn't been there when she found out. Even worse, I didn't know what to say. So I had just sat there, staring at my hand, my ears still ringing from the explosions that shook the earth the night before. Her dad had been visiting her sick mother in Tehran when a Scud missile got him. The missile also killed his mother along with the host and all the guests attending a 6-year-old's birthday party. They were all in the same apartment complex. Even though we were used to going to funerals, it didn't get any easier. Baba, if they don't hate us, why do they bomb us? My dad was about to say something, but instead he changed course so as not to disturb a caravan of ants that spread across the walkway. I followed suit. Once, when I was 4, we had come across a similar caravan on our walk. I had homed in on the biggest ant and had crushed it with a rock. Why did you do that, Uji? My dad had asked, calling me by my nickname. I killed a big scary dragon, I said, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. Do you want to know what I see? He asked. He sat next to me and pointed at the ants. That one over there, that's Sarah. She's the oldest daughter. She likes to tell jokes. Everyone always laughs at Sarah's jokes. That one right there, that's Nana Shada. She makes the best baklava. And that little one over there, that's Sina. He is the youngest of all, just like you. He loves drawing with crayons. Do you know what Sina does with his crayons after he's done drawing a picture? I shook my head. He eats them. Who else does that? He said, tickling me. I laughed at first, but then with a frown, I pointed at the rock covering the crushed ant. That was Baba Jafar, my dad whispered. He was leaving for the store to buy Sina some more crayons. Remembering that day from ages before, I looked up at my dad. He looked tired, and gray hairs that hadn't been there a few months earlier had sprouted like spring grass roots all over his head. I didn't ask him any more questions about Iraqi pilots and bombs. I just squeezed his hand and we continued our walk around the rose bushes and the willow tree.
Well, that was very moving. I could particularly relate as someone who grew up in post-revolution Iran. Yeah, that was beautiful. Thanks very much, Ari. With that, I'm going to give it to Jesse.
Thank you, Martine. Earlier, we had a wonderful reading by LA chapter leader Shadi, and now her mom would like to read our Fall Fortune for next year in Farsi with English subtitles.
سلام، من مریم نیکنویی هستم. میخوام برای شما یه فال حافظ بگیرم. نیت کنید. این حافظه and با فال حافظ شما ها نیت کنید. اوکی. قصه گیسو. شب و روز در اندیشه دست یافتم به اهداف و آرزوهای خود را خود هستی مراقب باش که خود را به دردسر نیندازی و بدان که آزموده خطا باشد. خبرهای خوش آماده، روزهای خوش زندگی باش. خب این حافظ این داره به ما میگه که ما مواظب خودمون باشیم، کار خطا نکنیم و همیشه چشم به راه کارهای خوب باشیم، به کسای دیگه هم کارهای خوب یاد بدیم. اوکی. شب یلدای شما همگی مبارک باشه. انشاءالله که به خوبی و خوشی این شب یلدا رو شروع کردین و همین دیگه خیلی چیز خوبیه. شما شب یلدا رو گرفتین و منم براتون فال حافظ رو خوندم. خب فعلا خدا حافظ و تا بعدن که ببینیم چه کار میخوایم بکنیم و خدا حافظ میکنم. به خدا میسپارم.
That was so nice. It was, having Shadi's mom read us. That was Mariam Nikniai, Dr. Shadi's mom. And Shadi also has a shop as well. I think we dropped the links in the chat if you guys want to check it out. She has some really neat stuff in there. So yeah, and then with that, I'll hand it over to Lily.
Yeah, so as Jesse said, Shadi has a really cool Etsy shop with a lot of Persian swag in there and other types of swag too. It's just like, I love the stuff that she makes. So if you guys want to go check that out, go ahead and click on that link. So with that being said, that was our final performance of the night. I just wanted to do a quick mention and just saying thank you so much to everyone for joining us tonight. We truly can't hold events like these or other events throughout the year without the support from the community, the NIAC community. Even though this was a California hosted event, we were so glad to open it up to everyone across the nation to join us in celebration of Shabe Yalda.
Thanks for that, Lily. Again, this is Mateen from San Francisco. There was a lot of work that went into this. We had been meeting maybe twice a week in the past few weeks to try to put this together. There's a lot of faces behind the scenes that made this happen. So thanks for everybody that put this together and to the NIAC community here in California, NorCal and SoCal working together. So just one thing I had to say was San Francisco NIAC chapter for 2022. We have a few upcoming events we have planned. We're thinking about going into specifically some social justice programs and projects that we want to be working on. Aside from that, for Nowruz, we usually do some event to give back to the environment. It could be cleaning a park or something. So that's coming up also. Please look at your emails for the upcoming invites for these events we have planned. And normally we do happy hours now that, you know, vaccination's out and people can meet outside and all that. We try to get the community outside of the these boxes and Zooms and actually meet in person. One more thing is we're going to have a raffle today in the audience. The 3 people are going to be selected randomly, and the prizes are tote bags designed by Shadi that we just talked about, and a book, a copy of the book A Girl Called Rumi that Ari Honarvar was reading from earlier. The winner will be emailed next week, and the 3 people will be randomly selected from the audience tonight. It was great seeing you guys. Thanks for making the Yalda night very special for me. I appreciate it. And with that, I'll give it to Jesse.
Thank you, Mateen. And thank you for the pomegranates, and thank you, Lily, for the poetry. It was wonderful. And thank you to all the other artists who performed and podcasts and all of the fun stuff for tonight. It was really a great time. And thank you all for watching. We want your feedback. So if you have any ideas, please email us at Los Angeles at NIACaction.org. That's Los Angeles at NIACaction.org. We'll also drop that email address in the chat. I believe we're going to do that. And yep, there it is. All right. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Happy Shabe Yalda.
Good night, everyone.